HorsePlayerNow.com's Joe Christopher, joined by Kaiten Bradar. And Kaiten, today we're going to talk all about intent, trainer intent, which I think is one of the most underrated factors in all of the handicapping world.
Well, growing up the daughter of a trainer, I would agree with you completely. I think one of the most important riddles you can try to solve in looking at any race is what the trainer is trying to accomplish and what the trainer believes about the horse in that particular spot.
Now, trainers have reputations for doing certain things well, training a certain type of horse well, and in this day and age, in the year 2012, there are a lot of statistics out there that pretty much put that information right in front of you.
Yeah, they do make our work a lot easier than it was, say, 10, 15 years ago, where you had to really look up and track things yourself and keep your own trainer statistics. And now, for the most part, it's pretty obvious right off the bat when you look at past performances, you can see certain things. But there are still little sneaky elements, I think, of trainer intent that maybe aren't quite as obvious that you still want to try to figure out when you look at handicapping. Yes, how a jockey and trainer work together and what kind of record they have together is important. But also, is the trainer the type that uses fast workouts versus slow workouts? Is the trainer the type that always has horses really ready to crack at first asking versus is the trainer the type that always races their horses into condition? That doesn't mean the horse can't win either way, but it's important to know what the trainer's style is.
Let's talk about the development of a racehorse, kind of tying into what you've just said. When you have a younger racehorse and maybe they have turf pedigree, but a trainer decides to start them in a 6-furlong dirt race first time out. Knowing the pedigree is important, but knowing how that trainer operates in those kinds of situations is also critical.
Well, absolutely. And you take a look, for instance, with 3-year-olds, and you look at a trainer like Dale Romans, and you know for a fact that Dale is the type of trainer that previously has used turf races to get 3-year-olds to dirt races like the Kentucky Derby. So, whereas with another trainer, I might be dissuaded by seeing a horse that looks like a turf horse and is entered in a turf 3-year-old stakes race. In Dale's case, I know it may be a means to an end for a dirt race down the road.
Now, there are a lot of different categories that we've talked about, and I think size of stable is important in a lot of these categories. If you have 40 or 50 horses in your barn, you have an opportunity to maybe place them a little bit better than if you only have 3, 4, or 5 horses in your barn. So I think that comes into play a lot as well, and all the different levels of class when it comes to race by race and day by day.
Well, I think whether you're a huge trainer that has hundreds of horses, or whether you're a trainer that only has 3 horses in the barn, the ultimate goal is the same. You want to develop the best horses you can, you want to get the most run out of those horses that you can, and you want to win as many races as you can. A smaller trainer doesn't have the luxury of time that, say, a bigger stable usually does. And a smaller trainer also doesn't always have the caliber of horse that a bigger trainer does. So, you see in bigger outfits horses being even matched against each other in the mornings, where that trainer has the opportunity to really see what that horse is capable of or how it compares to, say, a more experienced or a more accomplished horse. Smaller trainers don't have that luxury. That has to go into play when you're evaluating particularly first-time starters or horses trying something for the first time.
And I think, too, in the claiming ranks, if a horse has been off for 6 months and it's a small-time trainer with only a few horses, they're not going to want to waste a race in most cases. They're going to get that horse ready to run and potentially win off of the training because they don't want to train the horse for 6 months, then potentially run the horse, lose the horse, and miss that opportunity.
Well, I have the luxury of having worked for a lot of trainers in the morning and seeing what their style is and what they tend to do. For instance, I worked for a trainer, Ben Perkins, who was one of the best I ever saw at getting horses ready on works alone, whether it was first-time starters or whether it was horses coming back off layoffs. And I know exactly what he did to get those horses ready to run. A person that isn't privy to that kind of information has to just track kind of the success rate and watch the workout patterns and keep track of that information if they're seriously going to play those horses or those trainers down the line.
Now, training horses is one thing. There is putting together a program, there is maximizing the talent of the horse, but another major skill in this day and age in the training game is manipulating the condition book. Working your horses around like chess pieces, not only at the track that you're stabled at, but at tracks around the country, and finding the absolute best possible spot, not only based on condition and class, but also based on the purses.
Well, and they move around a lot more than, say, 20 years ago. We see trainers that will travel up and down the East Coast. They'll travel all over the Midwest. They'll go everywhere looking for the best spots for their horses, as well as the best purses. So, those two factors have to be considered when you're looking at a horse that's shipping or going someplace else for for sure. But I think overall, most trainers are under pressure to keep their win percentage up, more so than probably any other time in the sport's history. So you look at the trainer's percentage rate, success rate, that can tell you a lot about their ability to really read the condition book and place their horses.
Kate and Bradar, Joe Christopher, the rest of the Horse Player Now team, and all of our panelists tonight, our intention is to teach you something about the training game, and we're going to do that right now.